If you'd like a stylish sports coupe for hot hatch money, then look no further than the Volkswagen Scirocco, because with its aggressive nose, wide wheel arches and sloping roofline, it's certainly more distinctive than your average VW. As soon as you climb inside this car, you can be in no doubt that it's going to be fun to drive. You've got a flat-bottom, chunky steering wheel, which feels very sporty. The driving position is low-slung, but don't worry, if you're small, you can always jack it up. And I have to say, you've got to get the leather seats because they feel really upmarket. And I like them in this brown colour. Being a VW, everything feels well-made, and the controls have a lovely damp feeling to them. There's a little bit of practicality too. There's a decent-sized glove box. There's a cubby there under the stereo, and there's even somewhere where you can store your iPhone. As for safety, well, all cars get front, side, curtain airbags and ISOFIX fittings for child seats, and also ESP anti-skid control. Underneath its swooping bodywork, the Scirocco is pretty much a Golf, only it sits slightly lower and is wider, especially at the back because it uses the rear axle from the Passat. And these changes combine to create a more sporty driving experience. What I really like about this car is that while it's fun, it's also very relaxing too. And that's because all but the entry-level model come with VW's adaptive chassis control, which uses computer-controlled dampers which constantly adjust depending on the road surface and your driving style to provide the best balance of comfort and handling. Now you can actually override the system, put it into sports mode, which firms everything up and sharpens up the steering and the throttle response, or put it into comfort and things get slackened off, and it's ideal then for just cruising up and down the motorway. Personally though, I just leave it in normal and let the computer figure things out. However, while I think the Scirocco handles extremely well, I do think the keenest drivers among you may find a Renault Sport Megane 250 Cup ever so slightly sharper, and that brings me on to this car's downsides. And one is the fact that, for a sports car, the dash is a little bit unimaginative. If you follow me, I'll show you some other things you may find a bit of a pain. Now, I must point out that there is absolutely loads of knee room back here. My issue is with headroom. I mean, I'm rubbing on the ceiling and I'm worried if I went too far, I'd end up with a bald patch. Also, the rear windows, they're quite small, so it feels a bit dingy back here, and there's only 2 rather than 3 seats. And then there's the boot. For starters, there's not a release on the back. The only way to open it is by using the key fob or pressing a button in the cabin, which is massively annoying. The size isn't as big as you get on your average hot hatch. There's a massive lip for you to hoik things over. And while you can fold down the rear seats, they don't lie completely flat. But you know what? If I'm totally honest, all these negatives, they're just nitpicking really, because for a stylish sporty coupe, this car is surprisingly practical and easy to live with every day. But the best bit is the price, because this 2-litre model is actually cheaper than the Golf GTI. It's crazy.